Okay, so much has happened that I've missed and haven't talked about in the last like month that I think I'm just gonna call this like a pop culture recap and go through a lot of a variety of different things that like I've been listening to or watching or have seen or have listened to, like pop culture news that's been going on in the last month. So I guess this is gonna be an unorganized video that's not gonna make a lot of coherent sense. So I think I'm just gonna talk about events and things that have happened in pop culture, things that have come out, and just give my thoughts and maybe some recommendations because I've been watching and listening to a lot of new stuff. And yeah, so, okay, first things first, the Jonas Brothers. The Jonas Brothers got back together. Obviously that happened a while ago, but I just bought Jonas Brothers tickets to see them when they come to where I live, and they're expensive, but it was worth it. I saw them in 2009 when I was in 6th grade, and me and the same friends are going. So I'm super excited about that. Obviously, I love the Jonas Brothers. My favorite album of theirs is Lines, Vines, and Trying Times, which I still have the CD in my car, and I listen to it all the time. So I think that for a long time, I didn't know the song titles. I was just like number 6 on Lines, Vines, and Trying Times. That's how I referenced it. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about is Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus chopped her bangs so that she looks like freaking Hannah Montana. And I like that she's like more mature now and less like trying to break out of her childhood thing. Like it's more fun for everybody when everybody's like Mark Hamill and he's like, yeah, I love being Luke Skywalker, like is super deep with the Star Wars fans, Star Wars lore, like knows all the stuff, is on Twitter talking to fans and stuff. And now Miley, I think, is coming into that and embracing her Hannah Montana side, or else like she wouldn't have gotten bangs. That's why she chopped her hair off in 2013. So that happened. I love that. I love Miley Cyrus, obviously. So I stan her. And I think she's coming out with a new album because she keeps saying like she is coming and posting pictures in the studio. So I'm excited for her and Liam at the Met Gala. I die every time because that is love. That is true love. The next thing that I want to talk about that I missed is Avengers Endgame. Spoilers for Avengers Endgame. Probably. I don't know. I liked it. I think that Infinity War is better, which is kind of weird because they wrote them both at the same time and filmed them both at the same time. So I don't know why I liked one better than the other. I think that Infinity War is like a more cohesive story, and some of the pacing in Endgame was kind of weird where it was like, okay, we're like depressed. Oh, we found this time travel thing. Gloss over the time travel explanation because like I get why they did it because it's like don't focus so much on that. It's like about the story. It's just like a story plot driver, right? So I get that they're like just don't worry about it, but I feel like they kind of rushed over it, and then I was like, oh, what's happening? They're doing it. I thought it was good. I liked it. Of course my heart's sad that Iron Man is dead, but I like that his last words were I am Iron Man. And I think that I'm like sad about it, obviously, but I like, it made sense with his character because like him and Pepper have had a lot of conversations over the years about like he'll stop or whatever. But everybody knows that he can't stop. He feels like he has a duty to help people if he's alive. So that makes sense. It's a good finishing point for his character. Same with Captain America. He deserved to be old because he never like asked to join S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything. He just kind of got kidnapped out of the ice. So that makes sense too. And he got to be with Peggy Carter, which is a couple that I stan also. And now Thor's, I guess, part of Guardians of the Galaxy. Didn't see that one coming, but I guess Chris Hemsworth wants to keep doing the movies. Unlike, what's his name? Chris. Why am I blanking? Because I'm thinking of every other Chris that's in there except for the one that I want to talk about. Evans? Chris Evans. And then on that same note, the SpiderMan Far From Home trailer just came out, which I'm super excited for. I love Tom Holland. He's such like a precious little treasure, a treasure. And we just need to coddle him and tell him how much we love him. I love Tom Holland. He's like the perfect Spider-Man. We all know he is Spider-Man. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. And it's going to be like weird to have a Spider-Man movie without Tony Stark, but I think that's where they wanted to take the story, like Peter coming into his own and like taking what he learned from Tony and trying to be, like, they talked about it in the trailer, like, the world needs the next Iron Man. I'm like, oh, so it's going to be Spider-Man? I don't know how they're going to do that, but sad without Tony in it, but whatever. I'm excited for that movie. And then, the Met Gala just happened. Complete 180 from Marvel, I guess, but the Met Gala just happened. Some people's outfits that I liked were Lady Gaga, obviously, all 4 of her outfits. She's amazing, but she's a chair for the Met Gala, right? So she like decided on the theme camp, along with Harry Styles, who is Harry effing Styles. Like, what else do I need to say about that? Kylie and Kendall Jenner, their outfits, I loved like the feathers, and I loved Kylie's little, I don't know, sleeves, feather sleeves. I think they were amazing. And if you watch like the Vogue YouTube video about how like they made it, they like Gianni Versace invented the mesh, like the crystal mesh. So there's a lot of like technique and artistry that goes into making the fabric for it, which is really interesting. So I appreciate the craftsmanship that went into it. Also, the craftsmanship of all of them, right? They're all like custom made designer gowns by like really talented people that couldn't be recreated by anyone else if they wanted to. Speaking of that, Cardi B's, also her ginormous like red dress with the nipples that she kept talking about, they're ruby nipples. It's so funny. But also another like, just speaking to the craftsmanship of stuff, Kim Kardashian's Terry Mugler dripping wet dress. Oh my gosh, I loved it. Terry Mugler is just so unique. Everything that it comes from that house is unique. The dripping wet, like who doesn't? She had drips like coming off her nails too. Like I love that look. Nobody else has done anything like that before. And then we saw Terry Mugler at when Cardi B wore the clam dress thing. Speaking of fashion houses, Rihanna started a fashion house, Fenty. I don't really know what all goes into making a fashion house, but it's under LMVH, which is Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, LVMH. Did I say that? They own a lot of other brands. There's like 2 companies that own like most high-end designer brands, and it's Kering and LVMH. So she's under one of the 2 largest ones that own all the other brands. So she has all the resources that she needs. Obviously, she'll probably have great designers. So I'm excited to see how, like, what's going to happen. Because I think that there hasn't been a fashion house created since like 1987. So I wonder how it'll be received by like the high-end market. Because it's easy. If she's Rihanna and she's selling Fenty Beauty and it's at a good price and it's a good quality product, which it is. I've talked about her matchsticks before. It's easy to sell to like the masses, but to like people who buy high-end designer brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, who else? Off-White, Prada, Givenchy. That's all I can think of right now. People who are regularly buying those brands, I wonder how they'll accept a new high-end fashion house. Like, how do you know that those things are going to grow in value, you know? Or if they're going to be fashionable 15 years from now or 20 years from now. Because if you buy a Chanel purse, Chanel is the one I miss. If you buy a Chanel purse, you know, like the boy bags or whatever, you know that they're going to be in style and still fashionable and a classic look 20 years from now. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Oh, true crime is something that I wanted to talk about. Wow, that also is 180. High transitions. Don't know her. Okay, so true crime stuff I've been listening to. My Favorite Murder, obviously, I've been listening to them for like 2 years now, long time. They're great ladies. That is like a comedy true crime podcast. And the other one is Last Podcast on the Left. And that podcast is a bunch of men, and those dudes are funny too. And I like them because they like roast the murderers. So they'll do like a serial killer, they call them heavy hitters, and they'll do one, but they'll like roast them. So it makes them like not so scary and not such like a daunting presence. Like it's not so intimidating because you're like, oh, they were just like a nerd or whatever. So I really like those. Not true crime, but crime-ish. It's a Netflix show called Santa Clarita Diet, and it's all I've been watching. I've been binging it, but the show is so funny. She's like a zombie, basically. She's a normal woman, and then she turned into a zombie, and comedy ensues, you know? So that's been a really good show. I've been watching that nonstop. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Game of Thrones. Obviously, last season. It's kind of, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but this season sucks. It's the last season, and this is my problem. Spoilers. From the first episode, the first scene are the dudes at the wall running from White Walkers and like getting attacked by White Walkers. That is a first scene. Like that is the most important thing of the show. That's what this all has been talking about. And the whole point is like, there's an existential threat coming and everybody is focused on the ticky-tack bullshit. Like who the hand of the king is going to be. Like that's the point. Also, sound familiar? Hello. So it's smart. That all is kind of like flush on a toilet. I thought that like the White Walker battle was going to be like a 2-parter, or like start halfway through one episode and then go into the next one, which kind of would make more sense because it's like the whole crux of the show. So I understand the choice to let them win. I think it would be a more ballsy choice when the show used to be like more unexpected to have the White Walkers come in and kill everybody. Like that's what I thought was going to happen. That somehow like the White Walkers would win, or they would just like destroy each other so that like the system would have to rebuild. I think the point throughout the last couple seasons also is like, because Dany was supposed to be like this great leader, like breaker of change, free your slaves, has dragons and stuff, is actually a nice like person, cares about people being fed. But like you've seen her like throughout the last couple of seasons like actually be like kind of crazy, and just like the rest of them, and only caring about the throne and not really caring about like the plebs as much. So I thought that would be good to like have the system break down and have to rebuild it, but that's too hard to write. So I guess they just had them win in like one battle, and that's fine. But now we have to watch them fight Cersei, which like, do you really think that Cersei is gonna win? No, because they don't do anything unexpected. So that's all. I'm like kind of frustrated with this season, but I do like watching it like with everybody. Like, yeah, as soon as it's over, you can go on Twitter and like see all the memes and stuff. Like it's fun. It's like a group experience that way, which is a good thing. I like watching it like that. Okay, that's it. Hopefully I can come up with a better, more cohesive video idea. I'd like to do more movies. I'd like to do more music. I've just been very busy. So I'm going to start thinking of some better ideas of some stuff to do. Okay, also, this is the only place I could think to film. So I'm like, my kitchen's behind me. I don't know where else to set up. And I think the acoustics are going to be weird with the audio. So sorry. But I don't know what else to do about that. Megan's coming home next week, so hopefully me and her can team up and talk about some other stuff. I like making a video with her. Yeah, bye.